What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Monarch Legacy of Monsters news roundup. That's right, welcome back to the series where we are covering the chronological development of Apple TV Plus's and Legendary's Monarch Legacy of Monsters, the upcoming Godzilla show set in the MonsterVerse following up on the 2014 Godzilla film. In today's video, we will be covering events set in December of 2022, and oh my god, if I had been just faster with this video by like a month, this video would have been pretty groundbreaking, because it turns out almost all of my predictions in this video are right. I scripted this video about 2 months ago, and I've just been so backed up with stuff, especially when all the -1 stuff started dropping, that I never got to record it until now. And why didn't I record it? Because oh my god, I was so right about so many things. Over the next couple videos, as I talked about in the last Monarch news and update, I'm going to be kind of weaving a web of Skull Island, talking about my theories about Skull Island and Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and with that trailer we got that was wonderful, it turns out a lot of them are right. Well, without further ado, I'll roll the intro and then let's jump into it. Yeah, this video was scripted a long time ago. This is all the December 2022 stuff. I actually think what I'm going to try and do, because Monarch Legacy of Monsters is right around the corner, just a little over a month away, I think what I'm going to try and do here is, rather than alternating the way I have been between Godzilla X Kong the New Empire and Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and then just kind of alternate week to week, I'm going to try and just do Monarch Legacy of Monsters and -1, and kind of those will be the two that I alternate, and I'm going to try and do the best I can to catch up on news for both of them, because I have fallen quite behind on both. I'm very busy these days. Like I've said in previous videos, I work 4 jobs. It's a lot of time and effort that goes into them, so I don't really have a ton of time to do YouTube as much as I would like to, but I'm gonna do my best. Jumping straight into things, let's get into some art here from Adrian 2099-1. This is his Rodan versus Mothra fan art for Godzilla King of the Monsters. This is really wonderful. I really like it. I like the hand-drawn stuff. I'm always a fan of hand-drawn art. I think it's really wonderful. I like the way he's framed Rodan and Mothra together. I like how they kind of create this circular pattern together. They look wonderful. You did a great job, man. And also, I really like that he had small little details like the blue shimmering off of Mothra's wings. That's a great touch. This next one comes to us from Plague Dog, and it's a really cutesy version of King of the Monsters. I like it a lot. I really like the Mothra in this art style. It looks wonderful. But Ghidorah's looking great. I also love the way they've done the storm pattern in the background. It looks really wonderful. Godzilla looks fantastic. My favorite little detail about him is the streak of blue coming out of his mouth and the glowing eyes. And Rodan looks great as always, and I like his kind of lava-y veins running up his wings. Good stuff, man. I really like it. This is from Scott Newman. This is his King of the Monsters fan art. And again, it's just kind of like this epic poster version of Godzilla King of the Monsters, taking inspo from that Russian poster for the film. I really like it. I like the Godzilla and Ghidorah battle here, very Heisei-esque. I like the, again, another little detail, having the golden glow off of Ghidorah's gravity beam spill onto Godzilla's shoulder and chest. That's a great touch, man. Rodan down there in the fire looks wonderful. He really captured the essence of him being a fire monster, and then Mothra being this blue goddess is just wonderful in the background. I love her. I think she's great here. This is some actual concept art from Godzilla King of the Monsters that I just wanted to shout out, because I think it's very interesting to see the development process of the Titans in those movies. This one comes to us from Maruikio Ruiz. I totally butchered his name, but he is a concept artist, clearly working for Studio 80i, and these are some 3D renders of his concept Rodan design. I respect and admire all the different options that were presented to Michael Dougherty in order for him to craft what I believe is the best Rodan we have ever seen, and these are really wonderful, especially when it's all lit up with the red lava look. That looks wonderful. This is a lot scarier version of Rodan, and the reason I think that they probably didn't go with this design is because his wings look so shredded that it almost is unbelievable that he would be able to take to the skies. There's something far more monstrous about this Rodan than what we have seen in any of the movies before. I think this one captures the lava monster aesthetic very well. I think it's really cool. This looks like a cool Titan to be in the Hollow Earth, actually. Although obviously it's a little too Rodan to do it. Speaking of Godzilla King of the Monsters, this is Vitamin Imagination's Burning Godzilla concept art that was done for the movie, and this is very, very similar to the final design we got in the movie. I appreciate that they shout out the artists here, Duane Kang and Jin Kyeom Kim, definitely messed those names up as well, who have done a really great job creating this wonderful Godzilla concept art. What I think is so interesting about it is it clearly takes inspiration from the 2019 Godzilla design, showing that this was still pretty early in development for the movie, meaning Burning Godzilla must have been a choice that Michael Dougherty made very early on. Personally, I really like the Burning Godzilla design in Godzilla King of the Monsters. This is a wonderful step in getting to it. Like I said, this looks a lot like the actual final design in the movie. I actually really like the Burning Godzilla in Godzilla King of the Monsters more than I like the Heisei Burning Godzilla. It's up there with the Scarlet Godzilla Earth for me as being my favorite iterations of the Burning Godzilla, just because I think the Burning Godzilla from 1995 doesn't really look like he's burning all that much, as it looks like he's just got some red coloring time to him. But I think these are great. As far as Monarch Legacy of Monsters goes, KDM teased that we would have some fan favorites coming up in this show. The characters played by Kurt and Wyatt Russell he teased would be favorites, as well as Anders Holmes he said would be a favorite, as well as a surprise guest appearance. So obviously we know that Kurt and Wyatt Russell are playing Lee Shaw in Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and that's exciting because he is of course a legacy character for the MonsterVerse, taking inspiration from the version of the character seen in Godzilla Awakening. It's really exciting to see him show up in live action, and also because I think they're retconning that comic, which is just wonderful because that comic was awful. So of course those two are going to be fan favorites, and it's Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell, so how could they not be? As far as Anders Holm, we now know he's playing a young Bill Randa in Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which is just that's mind-blowing. I would not have guessed that, but I would have been able to guess that the appearance was John Goodman's character, the original Bill Randa, returning for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Of course, I have known that for quite some time now, so that wasn't exactly cutting-edge predictions on my part, but it's exciting to know that he's officially confirmed for the show. Now, of course, it doesn't say surprise guest appearances. If it did, I would maybe assume we're going to get some actual Monarch members, like maybe a Sally Hawkins cameo or something. I don't think Ken Watanabe is going to cameo in this show, although maybe in a season 2. That's wonderful to hear. I think our best contender for another supporting character to return is Houston Brooks, probably the one played by Corey Hawkins, at least I hope so. Nothing wrong with the Houston Brooks from Godzilla King of the Monsters, who's an actor whose name I can't believe I forgot. I hope he returns as well. That'd be wonderful. I just don't think he's going to return in this season. I believe that what we're hearing about here is that we're going to love Lee Shaw and Bill Randa, both iterations of both. That's great. We got some DP confirmation for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. That of course means director of photography, the cinematographer, the one with the camera. That is Jess Hall from WandaVision, who of course we've known was going to be returning to the show. Jess Hall's doing a couple episodes, specifically the first 2 with Matt Shackman, who also directed the WandaVision television show. We also have Jean-Philippe Gossart, who's going to be a DP for the show. He was the second DP for Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he will be DPing at least a couple episodes on the Monarch television show. That's exciting stuff. Real News Hawaii goes on high alert for Monarch filming. That's right, Monarch Legacy of Monsters in December of 2022 moved to Hawaii to do a lot of filming there, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. There was a Monarch filming notice posted in Hawaii stating that filming would happen in a bunch of places that I'm not going to be able to pronounce very well. There was going to be filming in Waimanalo with retro military uniforms as well as men in suits and ties. I'm going to predict that this was a lot of the filming happening in like the Philippines. Remember how they filmed in one location saying it was the Philippines for Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and it was like a bunch of retro filming with retro cars and stuff? Well, I'm saying that's what's going to happen here. I'm thinking this is going to be some of the stuff with a young Bill Randa and a young Lee Shaw, and I think this is going to be a lot of the past Monarch. I think that's why it's all the retro military stuff, and I think they're going to be operating within the South Pacific. That's kind of the region that Monarch's operating in, and now that we've seen in the trailer, this could tie directly into the Godzilla hunt from the 2014 Godzilla film, which of course, according to Godzilla Awakening, that was also the hunt for Shinomura, but I don't think that's going to be the case in this show. I think they're retconning Shinomura out of the MonsterVerse, which is kind of a shame because it's a super cool Titan. But what is interesting to note here is that I think that they are filming a lot of that like on the beach, painting the nuclear bomb that they use against Godzilla stuff. The actual Godzilla swimming up onto the beach and getting nuked. I think a lot of that's going to be filmed here, and we actually will be able to talk a little bit about that more when we get into the set photos. Filming started at the Hawaii Kai Golf Course. Security claimed it was for a Jurassic Park ad, but Real News Hawaii got to the bottom of it and said it was a Monarch Legacy of Monsters shoot that was scheduled to run 8 days. And we actually have some photos of the filming happening at the Kai Golf Course. Now, these photos don't show much. A lot of these were shared by Real News Hawaii, so shout out to them. They're doing great coverage of all the filming happening in Hawaii. Basically, what you see here on this is they've set up a lot of blue screens, which is very interesting. That means there's going to be some VFX happening in this, which could mean nothing. It could just mean they're sprucing up the environment, or it could mean Titans, which of course, as I said, Godzilla is going to be active in the 1950s, presumably in some of the stuff they filmed here. Also, it looks like they put up a big diffuser to block some sunlight. And then there's just some photos of the crew keeping their gear safe under tents because, of course, you're in the middle of the ocean, and so weather conditions are a little unpredictable. Filming then occurred at Sherwood Beach in Waimanalo. I have no idea how I'm doing on these pronunciations, but I'm giving it my best shot. We do have some photos of the filming happening at Sherwood Beach, and of course, they confirm here that you can see a bunch of retro military stuff. Like, I love that they're going period with this. I love the period aesthetic. That's, of course, something that's very exciting about -1, and I love to see it carried over here into Monarch Legacy of Monsters. We're getting 2 very different versions of the world portrayed in both of those, and I just like to see the retro military car. It's fun. It's good stuff. And you can see, of course, they've got like a hut in the background and the crew gathered around, and this could, again, be them nuking Godzilla. Who knows? Who knows exactly what they're filming here, but that could be what it is. We have another look at the Sherwood Beach filming, and this is very interesting because Real News Hawaii reported who was on set, stating it was Marie Yamamoto, who is Kaiko in the show. She was on set, and this filming seems to be connected to the 2014 intro sequence of Godzilla, which again, that goes right back to what I'm saying. This whole hunt for Godzilla, Godzilla in the Pacific, all these satellites and crap, Godzilla getting nuked, all of that was in the Monarch Legacy of Monsters trailer, and we're actually seeing them film it here. It's just wonderful to have the context of that now and to really know what's going on here. You've got this big military truck on the side. I love it. I love the sandy setup they've got with these sandbags and this big dish satellite. That's just great stuff. But the most interesting reveal here is the fact that we now hear Mari Yamamoto is going to be a character set not in the present day, but in the 1950s. And that's something that is going to be very fun to unpack. Which of the cast in this show are characters set in the present day, and which of the cast in this show are characters set in the past? And that is what we're seeing here. So Mari Yamamoto, she's set in the past. Keiko is a character from the ancient history, the ancient history of the 1950s. Sorry to everybody who was alive back then. It's not that ancient. And then we got to the very interesting filming. This was the filming happening at Kualoa Ranch. Kualoa Ranch is nothing new to the MonsterVerse. It's nothing new to Godzilla, in fact. Kualoa Ranch, which I don't know if I'm saying that word right, dates all the way back to the 1998 Godzilla film, which was filmed here. Now, if you're wondering, what did they film there? Well, in the 1998 Godzilla movie, that's where he does his giant footprints. That's where Nick Totopoulos and gang are kind of investigating Godzilla's trek through the South Pacific. That's where the big ship washes up. I don't think any of that is going to have any relevance for the show, though it would be fun if they returned to the footsteps and just made it a different Titan that made those. That'd be very exciting to see. Don't get your hopes up. That's ridiculous. Not going to happen. Why would you even say that? That's stupid of you. But the footprints are still there to this day. At least some of them are. Kualoa Ranch likes to preserve a lot of the filming locations that actually happened there, so you can go see a lot of historic landmarks, including the fact that this was Skull Island in the movie Kong Skull Island. This is also not the first time the MonsterVerse has returned here. Of course, they filmed here for Godzilla vs. Kong, and what do you know? They filmed Skull Island there. That's where Skull Island in 2021's Godzilla vs. Kong was filmed, right here. And of course, there's still remnants of the 1973 film being filmed here. You can see they have a downed helicopter still there. It's being preserved, and you can go drive past it on studio tours of the place. That's actually where a lot of these set photos come from, is people on the studio tours got to see the filming in progress, and they took some photos of it and shared it with us. Now, this is wonderful. I don't think we're going to return to the crashed helicopter because, of course, they would have to kind of undo the preserved nature of it to take out the signs and make it another filming location again, and it just looks too staged at this point to still be used, which is unfortunate, but this is also the location of the Skull Island Boneyard. That's where the Skull Island Boneyard is. I strongly believe that we are returning to Skull Island in the show, and I'm not just talking about having the Bill Randa kind of vlog himself, which is ridiculous, but whatever. Bill Randa vlogs himself in the Monarch Legacy of Monsters trailer, and you can see him in Skull Island. And yes, I do think we are going to be returning to this location for a lot of that. I don't think it's any mystery that we are filming on the Skull Island location and then Skull Island's in the show, although I don't know if they would want to risk having John Goodman actually on set in this location, especially with the studio tours going by. That would be crazy to try and risk that, and they kept it a pretty good secret until that trailer dropped. But what I am saying is, I think that we are gonna have characters in the 1950s visit Skull Island. Now, I don't know how I feel about that for the Skull Island mythos. In fact, I feel very strongly about the fact that if they do it wrong, it could really mess up the Skull Island mythos. But it is exciting that we are returning to Skull Island nonetheless. Now, that creates the question, are we gonna see Kong in the show? And I think we will. I think we will see Kong in the show. I don't think he'll be a big part, but I do think he might pop up. Maybe in the same capacity that he shows up in Godzilla King of the Monsters, where it's just kind of some stock footage of him. But I do think he will be seen on screen. Now, I know I said I don't think that they're going to be exactly returning to this helicopter location, but I would like to say it is possible, because during a storm, Real News Hawaii reported that they filmed near Sam Jackson's down chopper from Kong Skull Island. That is not technically the one we see in this image. Technically speaking, Sam Jackson's helicopter was ripped into pieces and smashed by Kong, so maybe they're just referring to the helicopter that he does the burial in front of, which is this one. So it could be in the movie. It could be. I don't think it will be, but it could be, because they filmed near it. However, it was reported that this filming was not Hawaii, it was not Skull Island, it was used as a fake Southeast Asian country. So it could be completely unrelated to Skull Island, could be dealing with that, like I said, the Lee Shaw, Wyatt Russell stuff set in the kind of Philippines or Southeast Asian region. And if it's a fake country, a fake Southeast Asian country, maybe this report's just trying to say it's not Hawaii, it's just some other country. Or maybe it's saying like it's a legit made up country for the MonsterVerse, kind of the way that Rolishika was made up for the original Showa era of Godzilla films. We have another look at the Kualoa Ranch filming, and some main actors were seen, apparently. That's what the report says anyways. This comes to us from a set video that shows them just driving through the area and just seeing those mountain ranges in the background. It's so Skull Island, it's just wonderful to see them go back to these locations. You can see all the crew set up with their tents and everything. You can't really get a glimpse of what they're doing, but we can see they have some blue screens set up, meaning again, we could see some Titan activity here. This report stating that they found the main actors features them driving past the whole set. You've got a massive chase truck with a camera on top, rigged with a crane. These chase trucks are used, I've actually been on set when they were using them before. It's really exciting to see these chase trucks in action. I've actually been in the chase truck before during a big Hollywood production, which you'll hopefully be able to see within the next year or so, for a movie I was on set in Canada. And the way these chase trucks work is they've got these cranes rigged with the camera that can spin 360, so you can get all sorts of shots, and you just drive around following other other vehicles in motion. Now, that doesn't always mean it is literally a car chase. It could just mean you're just doing a shot of them casually driving down the street. They could even be going 10 miles an hour, and you're just going to be in your big truck with the camera behind it so that you can get some shots of them driving down the street. But it's cool to see nonetheless. Continuing on, you just got a lot of cast and crew hiding behind these giant blue screens that they've got set up. I like that one of the crew members is waving hi to the camera. And then you've got some cast members laying in the grass here, and one of them very well could be Wyatt Russell with the sandy blonde hair. He's wearing like a green military uniform, and it looks like you just got a lot of crew surrounding those guys. And I can't really tell, but it looks like they're all in between shots. They're not actively filming, but it is fun to see the cast and crew in action. It's always exciting to see stuff like this because it's just wonderful to see films in progress. And then we get to flip around and we see the actual caravan of the tour in motion. And again, it's just a beautiful location. I'd love to go someday. That'd be a really exciting vacation to take. Real News Hawaii suspects that some of the actors we see in these set videos are actors like Anders Holmes, who again is playing a young Bill Randa, Marie Yamamoto, who now we know is set in the past, and potentially Anna Sawai, which would be a wild curveball because she is not a character set in the past. So what is she doing on an island? I have no idea. The only island I know she visits in the show is Japan. So I don't know what she could be doing there, but I strongly believe they are right about Anders Holm and Marie Yamamoto. I do believe those two characters will be together in the show. I think they'll kind of be a pair. They could be the lineage of our main cast, of Anna Sawai's character Kate. And interestingly, I think that they will be on an island. So I do think that maybe they're even on Skull Island itself. But we'll keep our eyes out on that because it's developing. It's a developing story. Additional filming was revealed again by the tour, and you just see a lot of the cast and crew gathered on the sides of the road, and they've used the blue screens here. Now we can see that they're using them to block off the road that the studio tours are going by so that they can probably fill out the environment without seeing that like there's a street there. And it seems that they've been doing that in all of the set videos. So that very well could be what the blue screen is there for, is just to kind of remove the real life civilization of it all and make it more mythical. And you just got the crew kind of all over the road. Massive crew for this show. Crazy. This show is a very high budget show for Apple TV. I mean, they spared no expense on this production. A stunt scene was filmed, so we got a stunt alert for it. And there's not a ton to dive into here, but it was filmed in Kaukanahu Road. This was a stunt driving scene with 1940s era vehicles. I don't really know what it means by a stunt scene. Could be a chase, could be them like crashing into each other, could mean any number of things. 1940s vehicles. Again, I think this is all going to be the stuff set in the past during the Godzilla hunt. And this filmed from 8:33 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So it was a nice full day shoot. And then it came and went just like that. Monarch wrapped filming in Hawaii on December 22nd. They filmed in Hawaii Kai, Kualoa Ranch, Hiea Jungle, and Wahiawa. Mostly they were filming in Hawaii, just using it as a substitute for Southeast Asian countries in the 1950s. Again. A lot of this could be filming in like Bikini during the Godzilla hunt, or it could be filming in other locations still during the Godzilla hunt, especially if we're touching on the events of Godzilla Awakening, in which Godzilla was very active in Southeast Asia, all over the place, hunting down Shinomura. So that could be what we're doing here. And just like that, principal photography wrapped on the show. Pickups, stunts, and 1950s second unit filming was still going on. So principal photography was done, but that didn't mean the show was complete. The cast even celebrated. I believe we have a photo here of Joe Tippett celebrating. And principal photography was officially stated to be wrapped on 12/16. In addition to principal photography wrapping, KDM reported that the Hawaii unit, a lot of that footage set in the Philippines, was also officially wrapped, meaning any stunt filming or pickups or anything else was filming in other locations, which is nothing new for this show. They were literally filming all over the entire world simultaneously. Woof. All right, and that'll do it for this one, guys. What do you think? What do you think the odds of us actually returning to Skull Island in the show are? And I'm not just talking about the Bill Randa vlog that he films there. I'm talking about, what do you think we're actually going to be on the ground in Skull Island in this show? What do you think if we're going to see Kong? Do you think we're going to see Kong? I'd say it's probably like a 70% chance of us seeing him, and probably a 100% chance if we're including stock footage from the 2017 film. But like a 70% chance of us maybe getting a glimpse of like a foot or an arm, or just a full body shot of him just kind of wandering around. I don't know. I think it could happen, especially if we have events set during the 1973 film. I don't know why they would hold back on that. We already know Kong's just wandering around in the 1973 film. We've seen him. I don't know. What do you guys think about all this down below? What do you think about Marie Yamamoto being a character set in the 1950s? Please comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts and theories are. I'd love to hear them. I've got so much to catch up on. Wish me luck. Thank you all for watching. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. I really appreciate the support I get over there. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below, where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out. Wow, that was a voice crack. Let me give that another take. D-Man out. Is that better?